Fuck. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know where to begin. I don't know how this happened. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got back from the theaters on Valentine's Day. How bad is my life going that I spent Valentine's Day watching Madam Web?
You guys are done.
Whoa. You guys are dead. What?
Fucking shit, man. This is a 2024 film that was directed by S.J. Clarkson. Sure, why not? Sony sucks.
What? No.
I've been saying this for years. I feel like a broken record, like I've been repeating myself, and that I'm shouting out into the void of nothingness because nobody's listening. Nobody hears our pleas, our cries, our anger of wanting Sony to stop making Marvel Spider-Man related films. And I know, especially nowadays, even with superhero movies, whether it's Marvel, DC, you do get fans online who openly shit on almost every film that comes out, whether it deserves it or not. So maybe a lot of complaints, a lot of bad reviews, and a lot of fan reactions being bad gets lost in the shuffle because nobody really knows what's real and what's not. No, this is one of those times, this is one of those points where a movie deserves every ounce of hatred, every ounce of bad publicity that it will get. This movie sucks. I'm just throwing that out there right here, right now, because there's almost no fucking point for me to go through a plot beat for beat and the fucking details and the info that goes into this. I mean, if you want to know the cast, we can go through it. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm going to sit here and say, fuck this film. Why are we doing this? Why is Sony allowed to make such shit films and have the Marvel logo in association with Marvel, have all of these ties to Marvel, reference the fuck out of Spider-Man so that people like me who grew up in the 90s and grew up reading comic books and watching the animated series that actually gives a fuck and knows who a character like Madam Web is, I will go and watch this bullshit just to make myself angry because I know they're gonna fuck it up. I've sat through this, through 2 Venom movies, through Morbius, Kraven the Hunter is still to come. This sucks as a fan of the product. This sucks as a fan of the property because it's being bastardized. Movies like the Marvels and so many other things that the MCU makes get shit on. And I'm not here to debate whether or not it deserved any bad issues. I had issues with it, but it's not at the level of what Sony is doing. Sure, Sony is making Spider-Verse, but that's clearly a separate group of people who actually give a fuck. This stuff here, Dakota Johnson plays a character named Cassie Webb. And I'm not going to say that Dakota Johnson is bad in the film. I mean, bless her heart, she is trying.
Wrong!
And I think under a better script, in a better film, maybe I could have rocked with her being this Madam Web character, but fuck do I not give a shit about her and her origin and this Final Destination fake-ass plot where she's getting visions of the future, but it's not even that far into the future. It's like seconds or minutes, depending on the situation, into the future. And they could have done something interesting with that. They could have done something like a Final Destination where it's more horror-centric or it's more intense and visceral with how all of it's shot. But no, it's just cheap imitations. It's just, we've seen this before. You're not doing anything new or special or different with it. The dialogue is atrocious. The dialogue might be some of the worst dialogue I have seen in a bigger budget movie. And I say bigger budget. I looked and saw that this was only $80 million. 80 only relative, because you could still say that's a decent chunk. But when it comes to superhero Marvel movies, that is smaller. And what sucks about that is that because it is on the smaller side, if it makes a fraction of their money back, Sony will feel justified of, oh, well, we can keep doing this shit. We know what we're doing. This made money. Not actual feedback and seeing how your fans are taking it. No, they just care about the bottom dollar, and that sucks. That sucks, because I think they're getting smarter with how they're making their movies. As far as making the budget smaller, they're not getting smarter with how the movies themselves are being made. Sydney Sweeney, Isabella Merced, and Celeste O'Connor, these are actresses that I have seen out and about in other things, or at least I know of them from other things. And it sucks because another situation where, under another circumstance, under another project, the idea of all three of these actresses playing future Spider-Women type characters, and that's who they're heavily teased and set up throughout the film, is that they're going to go on and be bigger and better heroes, characters. I don't want to see that for these actresses. They should not waste their time, waste their youth and their years on some Sony bullshit like this. The villain, Ezekiel Sims, who is a character from the comics, is a Spider-Man related character. Nothing like what they did with him in this bullshit. But the idea of one of these Sony offshoot films having an evil Spider-Man-like character, which is essentially what he is. He has all of Spider-Man's abilities and powers, but he's evil. The idea of that could have been decent, but man, do not know what to do with it, or do not know how to make it interesting. And I don't know what happened with this actor. I don't want to blame him himself, because clearly something must have gone on, because every one of his dialogue, everything that he says, has been redubbed. It's like either he said other things, and then after the fact they realized, oh shit, we need to change all of this, so he or somebody else redubbed all of his lines because it's so obvious. There'll be scenes where he's talking directly in front of the screen and his lips aren't matching the dialogue that we're hearing. It's such an odd thing. It feels like we're watching one of those old Godzilla films that it's redubbed and we used to all make fun of it as kids. And it's rough, man. It's rough. But he's not the only actor that they do that with. There's a couple other actors that they're speaking and the dialogue's not matching. It's so wild. I've never seen a movie not give a fuck about any of trying to match ADR. Other cast, other characters. What the fuck is Adam Scott doing here? Why is Adam Scott here? Maybe the paycheck was that good. And you know what, dude? Kudos to you for getting that paycheck. But they casted him as a young Ben Parker. And the idea of Adam Scott being in a Marvel movie, this is not what I would have done. This is not what I would have wanted. This was rough. Every tease, every sort of like, oh, hey, let's tease the fact that he's going to be this important character to you-know-who. Or, hey, let's introduce Emma Roberts as Mary Parker, and she's pregnant, and she's about to give birth to, and they do this tiptoe dance around on who her son's going to be and his name, and it's just like, they think they're being clever. They think they're doing something that is making all the fans happy or blowing all of our minds, and no, we're all angry and pissed if we're even sitting there watching this at all. Mike Epps, randomly in this movie, I don't know why. I mean, the way they use him, you would never know that he's Mike Epps, somebody that's fairly well known. I had an unpleasant and uncomfortable time watching this. This is one of the more uncomfortable experiences I've had in the theater, because I don't think I've quite ever sat in a theater chair and cringed and squirmed and just tensed up in my chair so many times at so much dialogue, at so many moments, at so many exchanges between characters. This was awkward. This was rough to watch. I guess you could say it didn't make me as angry as like the Venom and Morbius, because I actually care more about those characters, and so how bad they're being used frustrated me more. But this is technically worse. This is technically, from a directing, acting, writing standpoint, all of it in that level is way worse than anything Sony has done before. Fuck this film! In Madam Web, whose idea was it to make a movie about Madam Web? Specifically, like, who saw the Madam Web character and said, we're going to make a movie about that character? Or if you're going to do it, it's going to be lame and generic like this. Fucking hell, man. Sony needs to be stopped before it's too late. You know what? I think it is too late. I think we're past that point. One of the few times watching a movie where I thought, this ain't worth it. It's not. I shouldn't have even come here. It's not worth seeing for myself how bad it is. Let me know in the comments below if you guys were as unlucky as I was to go to the theater and see this. How bad was it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.